But if you think the chaos of last season ended there, think again. Because while Draymond Green was still digesting the echoes of a bitter elimination and the invisible scars of yet another public battle against hostile fans, behind the scenes in San Francisco, an almost impossible move was underway. A phone call was made discreetly. Conversations were held away from the spotlight. An old name resurfaced, loaded with memory and promise. Kevin Durant. Yes, you heard that right. The Golden State Warriors tried, during the February trade deadline, to reignite that flame that burned so brightly between 2016 and 2019, bringing Durant back to once again wear the colors of the team that helped build an immortal dynasty. It was a bold move, one many might call desperate, but with a touch of romance and hope. The hope of reliving not only the titles and epic moments, but the unique chemistry that the trio of Curry, Durant, and Draymond created on the court. However, the answer was not easy. Behind closed doors, Durant made it clear he was not willing to move again. He didn't want to be traded, at least not at that time. And so, despite all the effort, the trade did not happen. A blow to the Warriors management, who knew that window of opportunity was rare and might not come again anytime soon. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Phoenix Suns, with their star-studded roster and high expectations, failed spectacularly. With Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal on the squad, the team seemed ready for glory. But the season turned into a disaster. Neither the playoffs nor the play-in tournament. A true fiasco that left fans and executives frustrated and bewildered. Despite still playing at a high level, potential represents a dream of a great season turned into a nightmare. The Suns situation became even more unstable with the firing of Coach Mike Budenholzer, a clear symbol of turbulence and urgent need for change. And shortly after, the bombshell news dropped. Durant is expected to be traded this summer. Shams Charania from ESPN confirmed that talks will be intense. This reignites a spark of hope and anxiety for Warriors fans who can't help but wonder what Durant's possible return could mean. For those who don't remember, Durant has a rich history in San Francisco. 3 incredible seasons, 2 championships, and 2 finals MVP awards. He was not just a player, he was a vital gear. The protagonist who helped transform the Warriors into one of the greatest teams in NBA history. Alongside Curry and Draymond, KD posted impressive averages. 25.8 points per game in a regular season, and an incredible 29.6 points in the playoffs. He made history, and many believe he can make history again. Now, at 36 years old, Durant faces the challenges of time and injuries, but remains a player of very high caliber. His current contract has 1 more season, and the future seems uncertain but full of possibilities. It is in this scenario that Andy Bailey, from Bleacher Report, proposes a bold and audacious trade idea. He suggests that the Warriors could trade Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, and a 2027 first-round pick to acquire Durant in a sign-and-trade style deal. This proposal involves giving up young talent and valuable picks, something the franchise doesn't usually do lightly. Kuminga, especially, is a promising young player about to become a restricted free agent. The trade would require renewing his contract, matching salaries, and adding players that might make sense for Phoenix. It would be a high-stakes gamble, an all-or-nothing move. Andy Bailey highlights that the Suns, despite the risks, may have to seriously consider this offer. Durant will be 37 in September, with an injury history that can't be ignored, and he failed to save the Suns from a disastrous season. Yet, he still maintains elite numbers, averages of 26.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.2 assists with impressive shooting splits. 52.7% from the field, 43% from 3, and 83.9% from the free throw line. Moreover, despite his advanced age, a lineup featuring Durant, Curry, Draymond, and possibly Jimmy Butler, despite the age and wear, would have a real chance to compete for the title. Much more than the Warriors showed in 2024-25. That is the big question. Bet on the glorious past, trying once more to write one last legendary chapter, or bet on the future with the new generation. And this crossroads is not just about contracts or stats. It stirs egos, expectations, and the internal balance of the team. How would Durant's reunion with Curry go? What impact would it have in the locker room? Draymond, always the heart and voice of the team. Would he accept sharing the spotlight with Durant again? And the young players, Kuminga, Moody, and Podziemski, what role will they have in this new setup? The decision the Warriors need to make goes beyond the court. It's a choice of destiny, of legacy, to decide between the comfort and familiarity of the past, despite its risks or the challenge and uncertainty of a promising yet unproven future. Summer is approaching, and with it, the possibility of a final dance that could crown this dynasty or mark its end. The question for you, Warriors fan, is clear. Would you bring Kevin Durant back to fight for another title? Or would you hand over the keys to the new generation, hoping for a brighter tomorrow? Leave your opinion in the comments. I want to know what you think about this possible trade, the risks, the bets, and emotions involved. After exploring the recent whirlwind experience by the Golden State Warriors, from the tensions exposed by Draymond Green in the semifinals against the Minnesota Timberwolves to the turbulence behind the scenes involving Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns, the franchise's narrative now opens to a new chapter, one that promises to deeply shake the future of the team and the league. When a powerhouse like the Warriors misses out on the title hunt, the NBA immediately feels the impact, and rumors start to multiply, growing more intense by the day. With an early elimination in the Western Conference, attention turns to what could be the franchise's next big move, a move that could either reignite the championship flame or bring considerable risks to the current roster's stability. At the center of these speculations is none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo, the monster from the Milwaukee Bucks. After several seasons of high expectations and consecutive disappointments, Giannis appears to be at a turning point in his career. At 30 years old and already established as one of the NBA's biggest stars, the Greek faces a crucial decision: to keep trying to rebuild a title contender Milwaukee, or to seek a new challenge on another team, a new home that offers a clearer window of opportunity to win. Sources close to the league indicate this decision is approaching fast. The Bucks, having already lost Damian Lillard and facing a murky future, are trying to convince Giannis to stay, but the chances of a formal trade request increase with every conversation. The meeting scheduled between the parties next week could be the spark for a move that will change the NBA landscape. For the Golden State Warriors, a possible destination for Giannis, this rumor presents a huge dilemma. Adding a player of this magnitude, despite still playing at a high level, the team's dynamics, represents a short-term both on and off the court. The squad already counts on a core of seasoned veterans like Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, who carry the franchise's identity and, even at different stages of their careers, remain key pieces in the chase for another title. However, bringing Giannis to Oakland would mean making tough concessions. The Warriors would have to give up promising young talents like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, and Brandon Podziemski, along with valuable draft picks. These losses could impact the franchise's medium and long-term future, shaking the balance that Steve Kerr and his coaching staff have patiently tried to build. Additionally, there is the challenge of salary and roster chemistry. Giannis has a hefty contract, and integrating that cost into a team with veteran stars nearing 35 years old demands precise financial management and player adaptability. The arrival of the Greek would bring new physical and emotional weight, with enormous expectations, but also the pressure to maintain harmony among already established figures. Stephen Curry, for his part, has shown an optimistic stance. Recently, he spoke about the clarity he feels within Golden State's current core, reinforcing the idea that if everyone had been healthy, the team could have gone much further last season. He knows the thigh injury was a decisive factor limiting the team's performance, and this confidence in the internal potential makes him not see an urgent need to dismantle the roster to bring in a superstar. But the NBA is an ever-evolving environment, and the Warriors need to be ready for decisions that could define the franchise's coming years. If the trade for Giannis happens, the impacts will be felt on multiple fronts, from playing style to locker room management to fan reaction and the team's competitive posture. Milwaukee, on the other hand, is going through a delicate moment. After so many seasons betting on building around Giannis, Lillard's departure and the failure to reach the playoffs or even the play-in tournament open a question about the viability of keeping the star. The pressure to quickly restructure and seek young talent is enormous, and Giannis leaving could mark the start of a deep rebuild. For Golden State Warriors fans, the upcoming offseason promises to be an emotional roller coaster of speculation and strategic decisions. The window for a title with Curry, Green, and Butler still seems open, but the clock keeps ticking and time works against the aging of the main core. What do you think? Would Giannis Antetokounmpo be the boost the Warriors need to establish themselves as title favorites, even if that means heavy sacrifices? Or is the best bet to keep the current core, trusting in the veteran strength and the development of young talents to fight hard in the coming years? Leave your opinion in the comments, share your point of view, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow everything firsthand. The next few months promise to be decisive, and we'll be here to bring every update, every rumor, and every analysis. Get ready, because the scenario can change drastically at any moment. Whether it's an unexpected trade, a behind-the-scenes development, or a twist in negotiations, you'll want to be on top of it all. Stay tuned and join us on this electrifying journey toward the future of the Golden State Warriors. After diving into the recent whirlwind surrounding the Golden State Warriors, from the tensions exposed by Draymond Green in the semifinals against the Minnesota Timberwolves to the chaotic backstage involving Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns, the franchise's narrative now opens to a new chapter, one that promises to deeply shake the future of the team and the league. When a powerhouse like the Warriors misses out on title contention, the NBA immediately feels a ripple effect, and the rumors begin to multiply, growing more intense by the day. With an early elimination from the Western Conference playoffs, all eyes are now on what could be the franchise's next big move, a move that could either reignite their championship flame or bring considerable risk to the stability of the current roster. At the center of these speculations is none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo, the monster from the Milwaukee Bucks. After several seasons of high expectations and consecutive disappointments, Giannis seems to be at a turning point in his career. At 30 years old and already established as one of the NBA's brightest stars, the Greek freak faces a crucial decision. Keep trying to rebuild a contender Milwaukee or seek a new challenge elsewhere, a new home that offers a clearer window for championship glory. Sources close to the league suggest this decision is fast approaching. The Bucks, who have already lost Damian Lillard and now face an uncertain future, are trying to convince Giannis to stay, but the likelihood of an official trade request grows with every conversation. A meeting between the parties scheduled for next week could be the spark that ignites a move that changes the NBA landscape. For the Golden State Warriors, a potential destination for Giannis, this rumor represents an enormous dilemma. Despite still playing at a high level, bringing in a player is represents a short-term completely change the team's dynamics, both on and off the court. The squad already features a core of seasoned veterans, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, who define the identity of the franchise and, even at different stages of their careers, still play a key role in the hunt for another title. However, acquiring Giannis in Oakland would mean making tough concessions. The Warriors would have to part with promising young talents like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, and Brandon Podziemski, as well as valuable draft picks. These losses could impact the franchise's medium and long-term future, disrupting the balance Steve Kerr and his coaching staff have been patiently building. There's also the challenge of salary cap logistics and team chemistry. Giannis commands a massive contract, and fitting that into a roster with veteran stars nearing 35 years old would demand precise financial management and player adaptability. The arrival of the Greek star would bring new physical and emotional weight, sky-high expectations, and the pressure to maintain harmony among already established figures. Stephen Curry, for his part, has shown an optimistic stance. Recently, he spoke about the clarity he feels in the Warriors' current core, reinforcing the idea that if everyone had stayed healthy, the team could have gone much further last season. He knows the thigh injury was a decisive factor that limited the team's performance, and this belief in their internal potential makes him less convinced about the need for a dramatic shakeup just to bring in a superstar. But the NBA is a constantly evolving environment, and the Warriors must be ready for decisions that could define the next chapter of the franchise. If a trade for Giannis does materialize, the impact will be felt on multiple fronts. From playing style to locker room dynamics, to fan reactions and the team's competitive posture. Milwaukee, on the other hand, finds itself in a delicate moment. After so many seasons betting on building around Giannis, Lillard's departure and the failure to even reach the playoffs, or the play-in, raised doubts about the viability of keeping their star. The pressure to quickly restructure and chase young talent is massive, and Giannis' departure could mark the beginning of a deep rebuild. For Golden State Warriors fans, the upcoming offseason promises to be a roller coaster of emotions, speculation, and strategic decisions. The championship window with Curry, Green, and Butler still seems open, but the clock is ticking, and time is running out for the aging core. What do you think? Could Giannis Antetokounmpo be the spark the Warriors need to solidify themselves as title favorites, even if it means heavy sacrifices? Or is the better bet to keep the current core, trusting in the veteran strength and the development of young talents to remain contenders in the coming years? Leave your opinion in the comments. Share your perspective. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to catch everything firsthand. The next few months promise to be decisive, and we'll be here to bring you every update, every rumor, and every in-depth analysis. Get ready, because at any moment, the landscape could change drastically. Whether it's an unexpected trade, a behind-the-scenes twist, or a last-minute shift in negotiations, you'll want to be in the loop. Stay tuned and follow this electrifying journey with us into future of the Golden State Warriors.